Welcome, boys, girls, wherever you are in the world. Today we're at 5th of June 2023 at time of recording, and today we're going to go with the same thing we usually do, right? We're going to cover crypto, we're going to cover FX, but starting as always with Forex Factory. It is still important, boys. We're going to have to know the macro news, how it's coming out, what are we expecting, how it's going to affect the markets. So for this week, I think we have NFP this week, if not mistaken. Nothing for Wednesday that we're actually interested of. We have unemployment claims. It's predicted to come in higher than previously. So if it's coming in higher than the forecasted one, it will be bullish for DXY, resulting in a catalyst for risk off sentiment. So that's pretty much it for this week, right? Let's move on to next week. We have CPI next week on Tuesday. We have all of this. We have FOMC. FOMC is going to be very important. Very, very important, especially since we're at a time, right, where we have seen in the past, from historically speaking, if I'm not mistaken, every time Feds are on the verge of cutting rates, that's when the market really nukes. Because then you're going to see, they're basically elongating everything, right? Because if you're not going to nuke it right now, because as more as you keep fighting the market with rate hikes, it still takes 1 or 2 months to actually progressively get it in, to get actually implemented into the market. Basically, I saw one chart. I'll post it later in the group chat that said every time the Fed stopped with rate hikes, we've seen at least the beginning of a recession. So we have already seen Germany announce they're already in it. They have negative GDP growth for 2 quarters. So it's going to be interesting what happens next week. But for now, we're going to take it, see if we can actually position ourselves. Also, next week, Thursday, we have a lot of stuff coming out, especially for Euro, especially for USD as well. And if not mistaken, on Friday, we have prelim as well. So let's get right into it, boys. Let's start with crypto, to be honest. Crypto has been one of those things that's been nuking. So, boys, look. We have been short since 29.6K, okay? 29.6K. So, look, this is what we're looking at the moment. I'm going to highlight this area. This is the last cycle highs, right? But if we look at it from a range perspective, this was the initial high that price could not sustain above, right? So we get a deviation. This was the confirmation here on the retest, and that led to the market moving lower. So same thing we're going to notice here. Look how price reacted here. Did the under and over. So we had consolidation periods. And afterwards, what happened through the consolidation, we broke out, went higher. So here we can also develop a miniature range, right? We can use this level here, where price is currently resting. Change this to a line, also below here. Now, it starts putting everything into perspective, right? Look, if we are bearish, right? Let's see. We have, at the moment of writing for this recording, CZ, the CEO of Binance, just got sued by the SEC. Binance in general, Binance US, all of their different departments across the world. So they're basically fucked, right? So what I'm looking forward to see anyways, just from a trading perspective, is if we can make a weekly close below here. Weekly close below here would suggest this entire move becomes a deviation. And afterwards, what are we looking for? We can start using this low as a first objective, right? First objective being, if we are really bearish, we can start looking at something like this, especially since this is consolidation that led to the price up. We can use this as an order block, right? Or demand, whichever you want to use. It's a synonym, so you can use whatever you want. It's basically the same thing. So we can either short on the breakdown below here. This is the trigger, confirmation here. So I would look for a break, the retest. If it goes higher, that's good. The retest at this area, your shorting level. This is your stop loss, the swing high. And afterwards, you target these lows, right? This high. So this would be first take profit, second take profit, and third take profit. And afterwards, we'll reevaluate. But for now, I'm thinking we see something like this. And afterwards, once we reclaim the area we spoke about, then yes, I think that should honestly program to bottom. But the thing is, it's a very different macro perspective right now, right? Especially since what I've just spoken about when it comes to ES and Q, or just USD in general, right? When it comes to the macro economics of the world at the moment, especially since history is there to actually post us from to learn from it, right? History normally tends to repeat itself. If we already have historical data that every time Feds, when they cut rate hikes, it leads to recession, who knows? This could be the first time Bitcoin has ever delved into recession, right? So this time it actually might be different, boys. I'm not going to lie to you. It might actually be different. So who knows? This is why I'm actually kind of cautious if these lows are actually going to hold. Because if they are going to hold, then yes, probably ES and Q are also going to mark bottoms. But the thing is, this is the riskiest asset in the world to trade, right? This is the most speculative asset in the world. Everyone, we can all agree on that, right? So why would you, as someone who's going to face a recession, going to buy the most speculative asset in the world? That just looks stupid to me, right? There's no point for you to go into something like this. Cash is king in the end, right? Cash is king. Doesn't matter if inflation hits you or not. Cash is king. So this is what I'm looking for at the moment. So let's refine it a bit. Let's look at the daily. So daily had this. We had this high here. So we had another miniature range. This looks like we've broken out, right? Clear deviation twice, and afterwards we tapped on support inside deviation, and afterwards we couldn't even. We swept this high, stops taken, and afterwards moved lower. So now it becomes, are we going to see another lower time frame retest like this? Let me remove this real quick. Now, so the 4 hours, could it be one of those things that we see something like this and afterwards nuke it? Sure, this is what I'm looking for, honestly. This is what I'm looking for. If we can get a bearish retest above here and over and under, then especially what we just spoke about, right? But afterwards, this would be the swing high. This would be our stop loss. This is where we enter, and afterwards we nuke the fuck out of it. Then we're on board. Happy days. Again, we're already short 29.6, 28, 27s. So there's no point for me to overmilk it. But again, boys, when markets conditions present themselves in trending situations, we've been ranging for so long, haven't we? We've been ranging since March, boys. We've been ranging since March. So this is actually the genuine breakdown. It's time for us to actually knock the fuck out of this, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Either that, or on the daily, you have this line right here that held the market, the capital market. Deviation turned to support. But this turned support again. That's why I'm not looking keen to like just shorts right now, right? I want to see if we actually can give some sort of a bounce. It doesn't matter how high it is, the higher the better, of course. We can actually get inside at a higher price. But if we don't, then I'll look for a break inside here. And afterwards, something like this. And I'll take it here. That's what I'm looking for. There's no point for me believing that we're going to bounce from here and say, yo, boys, we're going to trade back 27K. There is no liquidity. At the point of writing, I've seen liquidity get honestly drawn out from Binance, especially since market makers don't want that type of heat, right? Market makers don't want to sit down on an exchange that is actually basically they're facing prosecution, they're facing litigation. So there's no point for them to actually stay there. So if liquidity issues were down bad, trust me, they're horrendous now. So I'm looking for. Honestly, it's been one of those things that we've actually talked about in the premium group chat, right? We've been talking about, look, sure, we missed out on a couple of moves, even though we longed from here. We longed from here, went higher towards here. We took most of 25, and afterwards we started shorting. We're just looking at lower time frame setups in general. But it's been paying out, hasn't it? It's an honest perspective that, it's short only for at least until maybe November, December, when price starts trading below here. And especially here. So now we have this out of the way. Last The last session we talked about, there's not much to update on when it comes to alts, especially since we're already on board Sol, already on board LTC, and honestly, we even have AVAX orders that hit, right? So we're gonna review all of them. I'm gonna see some perspective setups as well. Let's look at ETH. Also, I'm gonna use Bitfinex charts for this one. Same thing here, boys. Level here, cause a deviation from resistance here. Look where we found support, led to the price moving up. This is on previous cycle all-time highs. Support, deviation, found support on the retest. So now we got that out of the way, let's refine it. So look, ETH actually traded higher than BTC, hasn't it? We did a deviation here. Look how we deviated. This was your short trigger. And afterwards, where are we trading now? These are the equal lows that capped the market last time, right? In the previous cycle, or yeah, in the previous cycle anyways, from the bull cycle, we had support here, market rallied up. Came here again, started looking weak. As soon as we broke from it, we had a nuke down. So every time we revisit this area, right? We deviated, nuke. Deviated, nuke. Same thing can be said about here, right? If this is going to be another deviation, you can expect another nuke and take out this low here. So let's mark it out, boys. I'm gonna mark out this level here. So from already seeing this, I can already tell you guys that these are equal lows. Let me highlight it real quick. See, previous cycle, equal lows. So already from that, we can already talk about it, right? If we're already finding support here, as soon as we break it, we can expect the floodgates to open, especially since BTC is looking heavy. ETH BTC also looks like it's going higher, which is always bearish. Not always, but puts into bearish perspective because the USD pair is not correlated to the BTC pair. But if they're both going to nuke, it has more nefarious effect for ETH. So let's talk about it. Let's look at the daily. Let me look at this moment, right? This high got swept. As soon as we broke back below it, we nuked. So same thing we're going to expect here, right? This is just another miniature range. I'm using this level here because we deviated, got back inside, retested as support, deviated. Where did we go from there? The range highs towards here, deviated. So same thing we're going to wait here. We're going to wait for BTC. If we can make a substantial break below here, this is our shorting opportunity towards 1.4K. That's what I'm looking for, straight up. That's the only thing I'm looking for. I mean, sure, you can make an argument that maybe, we go towards here as well. But then we're overcomplicating things, and the chart doesn't look as beautiful. But look, just from a range perspective, especially since we've been in this intraday range for so long, right? It's been how many days? It's been 26 days. Consolidation leads to expansion, okay? And the longer we're going to range, the bigger the expansion. Just from this, it still looks range bound, but if we can break range lows, which is here, in this 26-day range, we're going to go lower. Confirmation would probably be if we can nuke below here, the market structure breaks. Even here, this would be a higher probability. So let's look at ETH BTC real quick. Where the fuck's ETH BTC? Use BitChex. I could support the idea, right? This has been, honestly, bro, you have to have mental illness to trade this. I'm not even going to lie to you. So this is the low, the cause deviation. As soon as we reclaimed, we started sending higher. So let's refine it. This area here. This is the support area, right? We reclaimed, found support, close. As soon as we close back below it, this is your trigger for short, deviation, nuked. Afterwards, this high got swept, nuked. So this area here becomes supply. So as soon as it comes supply, the more it grinds through, the weaker it gets. So as soon as we not get any reaction here, I'll look, probability-wise anyways, I'll look for something above here. And as soon as we deviate again, this is the reporting area. And if ETH BTC and ETH USD, the USD pair starts nuking, ETH BTC is a big barometer we can actually use if Bitcoin or ETH is going to be a stronger short. So at the moment, Bitcoin looks like the stronger short, right? Because it's actually holding higher than expected. But as soon as that changes, then boom, this is going to nuke harder, especially the USD pair. So I'm looking for. It's just a big range that we're in, boys. There's nothing much to update on, honestly. Just a big range, and afterwards we're just currently just waiting for everything to happen. Just a waiting game. But Bitcoin looks fucked. But when Bitcoin looks fucked, you can expect other alts to hit the deck too. Let's look at Solana real quick. Bro, I'm gonna be honest, I'm so fucking pissed on this because we shorted, right? We shorted here, right? Previously, we shorted here. We had nice little level here, bro, and we got stopped out. And the thing is, when I was trading this anyways, I was already maxed out on risk when it came to ES and Q. I used to split up my risk a lot. But here, no worries, we're gonna see if you can get back in. That's the thing, as soon as you can get back in and I'll trade, entries and take profit levels are the only things you actually need to worry about. After that, there's nothing else. It just becomes a waiting game for you from your perspective. How much patience you can have, honestly. So this is the level here. I'm gonna highlight this. Look at this level here, look at this low. Deviation support, every time we came to it, never closed below it. From this level, we actually went higher. Here as well. As soon as we broke it, we nuked. We reclaimed, started pushing higher. Reclaimed higher, reclaimed higher. And look, reclaimed higher. SR level flipped, nuked. As soon as we reclaimed, we went higher. But look, we're actually trading below it now, right? So what I'm going to look for is any higher time frame setup has to come from here. Especially since this is the level at the moment is capping the market, right? So if you can actually start moving something like this above here, I would look to reshort, especially since we have supply here. If you can come towards there, I will probably short here. If not, if we get a shallower bounce, if you close below this level again, I'll short and use whatever the swing high was. So let's say this is the first setup I'm looking. So this is the first. The second one I'm looking for is the shallower bounce. Below there is my short trigger. 1R risk below here, above here. Or even 0.5 because it's a very tight one. And afterwards, we start targeting these lows for intraday trade. And afterwards, you can start thinking about this level here. This area here. And from here, we have big, fat, long orders here. I'll be honest, this looks bottomed out. This really looks bottomed out. The only thing that's keeping me awake at the moment is this swing low here. This swing low here is free liquidity. It's free real estate for the homies. So if you can come towards here, do something like this, reclaim. This is our long trigger. We can start opening perps. We can start opening spot orders. But I'm still going to see if I can fill most of my orders in here, in this area here. And as soon as you reclaim, whichever the swing low is, that will be my stop loss. And I will ride these perps. I don't care if I have to pay like K or 2K, 10K. When it comes to the next cycle, I will keep these spot orders and perpetual orders in. I'll be happy as fuck to keep this in because this is going to run. It doesn't matter what we think about whatever happened to FTX. When we have a chain, even though it's kind of centralized, to be honest, even it's kind of centralized, they will run. The dinosaur coins of previous cycle, which are not considered dinosaur coins here, they will still run, okay? They will still run. And nothing can stop it, to be honest. So, let's be honest. Let's keep our sentiments aside. It doesn't matter how we feel. We're here to make money. It doesn't matter if it's a scam coin. We're here to make money. It's up to you when you are actually making money. How are you going to take profit? Don't be like someone that has Pepe and has like 70k UPNL and does not take the profit. Okay? Your soul will thank you. So let's look at LTC. LTC I like for a better short trigger because they had the halving narrative and everything. Where's the halving narrative now, huh? They're absolutely getting fucking clapped, boys. They're absolutely getting fucking clapped. So again, shorted. We took most profits here. Stops break even. Afterwards, what happened? Stopped at break even. You hate to see it. You literally hate to see it because that was literally the top two. That was literally the fucking top two. You hate to see it. So let's refine it. Let's remove this. So we already have a perspective, right? That this level here, the green level here, is holding price. This is an important pivotal SR area. Retested as resistance. Every time you flipped it, tested as support, deviation, you nuked it, resistance, you get the gist of it. Same thing is happening here. So how are we going to profit from this? I'm going to mark out this daily low. This is market structure break. So look, it's already holding as resistance, right? Already holding as resistance. So if this level here is holding as resistance now, as soon as you get something above it, it doesn't matter how high it goes, but as soon as you're back below it, so over and under, we'll use this as our stop loss and we'll take it from there. And we're going to use our initial take profit levels. And again, it doesn't matter if you missed out on $34, $40. If you got inside, very well done. Now we're going to see how you can profit the most out of this fucking shit. The halving narrative, huh? So look, from here, if we take it, I'll use this as first take profit. It will probably take 20%. This low here does something like this. We'll take here 33%. This low here, another 33. And afterwards, the remainder here. I'm not gonna lie to you, boys. This might be one of those dinosaur coins that I do not buy personally. Not because it does not send. It will send regardless. But the thing is, right, there's other better, shinier, newer coins that are lower. Let's say for Arbitrum, we have Sui. We have a lot, to be honest. We have even, call that shit, bro. We have Aptos too. There are new, shinier coins that are going to do better numbers versus the dinosaur coins. This is considered dinosaur, bro. Why would you want to trade this when there's other coins has lower prices, right? Why would you buy one coin for $40 and afterwards, if it's only hitting $400 next cycle, that's 10x. But let's say for Arbitrum is currently trading below $1. If you can scoop it, let's say $1 and that hits $100. Let's say from Solana, right? So Solana last cycle went from $3 to over almost $400, boys. Bro, I mean, that's 133 times, right? So let's ignore this. Let's go to the shinier coins. Start with Arbitrum. Never mind, it's actually trading above $1. It's just resilient, huh? So let's start marking out our levels, boys. I'm very surprised. Very surprised. It's actually showing some decent levels of resiliency. I'm not going to tell you guys how to short it, but if you want to, you can start shorting here. Start shorting here. Let's see, mark out this low. Currently holding as resistance, finding resistance there. If we reclaim above it, then afterwards you cut the position. But if you just want to ride it, safest stop loss that I would have for you is right now. And you can probably start adding more size below here. More size below here. Take out this. And how did I come up with this box? I'm going to show you, homies, especially since if you're on the prem, you should know this by now. Extended range levels from the high to the low. Now we're going to extend it 0.25, 0.50. So, honestly, I posted this on Twitter, but you get the gist of it. These are two primary areas, right? So think of it like this. We have one big ass range. This is range highs. This is range lows. From range highs to range lows, if it breaks, we just add minus 0.25 in the fibs, minus 0.50. It extends the ranges. So from here towards here, it's 0.25. So from here towards here, it's the same length. Okay, it's the same length. So from here as well. So if this is extended mid-range, extended mid-range, extended mid, we can probably see how pivotal the mid-range was in the original range, right? So this is mid-range here. See how we found support, resistance, resistance. So it's pivotal. We can absolutely expect a reaction from there. So I'm going to put 50% buy orders here, 50% buy orders here. So look, Arbitrum is one of those things where it's honestly, it has, I think from L2s on Ethereum, built on Ethereum anyways versus AVAX, most L2s, right? Layer 2s. If I'm not mistaken, Arbitrum has the most total value locked, so it has the most traffic. This is going to do numbers. It's a very undervalued piece of shit. It's a piece of shit regardless, but it's very undervalued. So this is why I think if you can scoop from, let's say, 80 cents, I think like an easy 10 times is easily obtainable, boys. Very, very easy obtainable. I got airdropped, if I'm mistaken, I got airdropped 1,125. At all-time highs, you can do the numbers. That was almost 3K. No, that was almost 2.5K. I can't even do math. That's 2.3K. So just imagine, you could pour the same 1K here in between these two levels, so you can probably profit a lot. I think this is one that runs the most, honestly. This is one of the perspective coins that runs the most next cycle. This is on my radar to buy. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care your emotional perspective. I don't care how the fuck you feel. We're here for financial gain, okay? That's all that matters. That's all that matters. So, let's move on from here. We also have Aptos. Alright, let's get it. Bro, sometimes you have to really realize how bad this shit is. And so Aptos, right? It's basically the same, it's a doppelganger, or let's say because discovered these first. Sui is a doppelganger based on Aptos. They use the same coding language, okay? It's called Move. It was developed by Facebook. The coding language is now open source. They started basing off on Web3 stuff, so like blockchains and stuff. So the new shiny coins, right? New tech, new code. Now it's starting to move. Because this already looks like it topped. You can use this level here towards here. I'm not going to even use that, to be honest. Wait. Let's move into the daily real quick. To me, this is a better respectful range because this came towards the high, towards here. I'm going to extend this real quick. Now, boom. Remove this real quick. Bear with me, boys. Bear with me. So here, right? I think this area here is a perfect area to start DCing. Okay? Because this got released November, right? November, if you guys don't remember, November was when Bitcoin started bottoming out into December, right? So when Bitcoin was trading around 17K, 15, this shit got released. And afterwards, when Bitcoin started moving higher, of course, this is going to get bidded more versus Arbitrum and Sui that got released during, when it was like 28, 29K, it started moving lower. There was no liquidity pouring in. Everyone was ecstatic, euphoric when it gets released, right? No shiny ass coin. So look, this is how we're going to play it. You can already see from this anyways, this looks trash. Honestly, boys, this looks ass. So you can start trading anywhere between here and here. This we're going to put 50%, 50% here. Buy the rest. If it goes lower, bro, put your kidney in, I swear. And if you want to trade it, this is the high here. Have deviation here. This is the low here. If we can close below here and do a bearish retest, this is your shorting area. First take profit, second take profit, third take profit. Use this high here as your potential swing high for your short position. So it'll probably look like something like this. Above here, towards here. Let me change it real quick. Since it moved, go to our short towards here. You can even target these lows. A little 2.88R. I don't feel like trading this. I feel like preserving my cash because again, cash is king at the moment. For if you're watching this regardless on YouTube or the premium channel we offer, we are short 29.6, 28.4, and also 20 short 27Ks. Comes to Bitcoin, there's nothing else for us to do. It's just about managing, paying the fees at the moment, and seeing how much speculative shit we can get actually inside of. So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to Aptos. So let's move on. Sui, another shinier coin, just got released on the same language versus Aptos. So on Move. So look, they say the shit don't work, right? Where are you finding support right now? Let me show you guys real quick. This is the range that we built. Let's extend this level here. Where are we finding support? And the extended mid-range, huh? Extended mid-range. This is where we're finding support. But because we are into price discovery, I would honestly wait. We probably might be able to buy at 0.50s. Okay? This extended mid-range is now the new range, right? So this is a new range. New range. So if this is now range highs, right? This is now range highs, this is range lows. 0.25, 0.50, 0.75. If this is mid at the moment, we're going to have to wait and see if you can break below here. And afterwards, if you want to take the short trigger, you can. First take profit, second take profit, and afterwards, when it comes to 50 cents, you're selling your mom, you're selling your dad, you're selling your house, you're buying a mortgage. You're gonna pay the 5% mortgage and pour everything into here. Trust me, I'm not into over trusting and over believing in myself that this is going to move higher, but I've seen crazy shit in my life. I've been here for 2 cycles already, and honestly, it's always the shiny new shit that moves the hardest. Always the shiny new shit. Bro, just imagine you have one of the shiniest new shits and they start promising like it's the fastest transaction when it comes to blockchain technology. It has the fastest, it has the most TVL, most total value locked, and everything, bro. Those are just bullish things when it comes to long-term holdings. The next cycle, when people start pouring into DAC and afterwards, at peak euphoria, right? From last cycle, when the share was hitting 60K, bro, I had uncles, dads, moms of different people start asking me, yo, SF, are you trading crypto? How's it going? I'm thinking of buying in. You're thinking of buying in, I'm thinking of dumping on their ass. Same thing is going to happen here, boys. The same thing is going to happen here. So, that's what I'm looking for right now. So, I mean, that basically covers what I'm looking for crypto at the moment. If there's any more questions or anything, we can just start digging when it comes to FX. But for now, this is what I'm looking for. No questions? Let's move on to FX, boys. So again, just to clarify, we're looking for short setups on LTC, SOL, BTC, and ETH. We're looking for spot buy setups when it comes to Arbitrum, SUI, and Aptos. I don't want to cover like buy positions when it comes to Ethereum and stuff. Like, come on, boys. If you can buy Ethereum below 1,000, all-time highs were 4K. Bro, let's say we buy it at 800, right? 800 sounds reasonable. If it does collapse and we see Bitcoin at 19K again, we can see it's reasonable to believe that we can see ETH below 40 digits again. So let's scoop up. Let's say we buy at 900. Better, right? Bro, if all-time high is 4K and Bitcoin all-time high from all-time low, not from all-time low, from cycle lows, only did like 10, 20 times, why would I want to put like 950 just to get like 10x return when I can probably set up and buy more coins at 8 cents for that type of price and actually have more returns on my investment? It's a no-brainer for us, right? It's a no fucking brainer. And as soon as we start talking, futures just open back up. So let's dive right into it. So let's see. I saw a chart when it came to just indices in general. So if you guys do not understand, ES and NQ are composed of different stocks, right? NQ are the top 100 tech stocks. This is based on basically just futures in general, right? So like, let's say other stocks compromise here. I'll be telling you, if I knew, I would be lying. So I need to do my research on that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but it doesn't matter the ticker. I'm going to trade it anyways. But Let's look into this perspective. Let's zoom out. Currently underwater. I do not mind being underwater. This is something most people don't actually understand. Like, if my time frame is on a higher time frame, let's say weekly, monthly, I'm okay holding 1 hour, let's say even half an hour of underwater position right now, just because I have the belief, and it's probability wise anyways, this can still move down from here. I can even day trade it from here, okay? So let's see. No, let me go back to the monthly. So let's see. Let's clear up this right here. So where are we? People think we're going to go towards here. Bro, but bro, honestly, it's unprecedented these times we're in right now, right? Tell me this isn't one of those wedges that people start talking about. Let me remove these levels here. These wedges that people start talking about just keeps getting tighter and tighter, huh? Normally, how does these shit start playing out? Starts doing something like this. Let me see, one of these homies on Twitter actually posted this on me. Wait. Let me see real quick. So, if you guys are not familiar with QQQ, it's basically a leveraged version when it comes to what NQES are doing. If, again, I'm not mistaken. So, it's been a while since I've actually been trading just TradFi in general, like stocks and stuff. So, I need to keep up with the energy and the time. So, let's see. Where is it? This. Do you guys remember? Bro, what the fuck? Did I just click that? You guys remember the call that the Wall Street? You guys remember the Wall Street cheat sheet, right? Where the fuck is it? Alright. So this is supposed to be it. Look. Come on, boys. It doesn't get any easier than this, does it? Especially as clean, right? This is all-time highs. This is the bear market rally towards here. Trust me, right? As soon as you start breaking below here, then that becomes a deviation. We start moving lower. Let's put it into perspective. Look at the weekly. Lead up. Yo, mom, I'm a genius. You're gonna make a millionaire. Blah blah. These homies on TikTok know what they're talking about. So look, we had the end of this entire proof down, and now we are up. How many percent are we from these lows? Right? We are up almost roughly 40% from those. That's pretty much enough when it comes to a bear market rally from the past, right? Now, it all happens, depends. What the fuck is this? Bro, honestly, what the fuck is this? Right, so, just happens now, right? If this becomes the new paradigm as people are expecting, wouldn't you agree? We actually should have just started trading higher by now, right? Since ES and NQ should be just blasting off, aren't they? But look, this level here is holding as resistance. We had the first deviation here, and now we're back towards here, and we just retested as resistance. So look, honestly, I was just doing paper trading on this, but I might actually put like physical cash on it when I'm de-risked. But look, I mean, boys, this doesn't look bullish, right? Make sure that our run up looks bullish. The same homies that started talking about Ethereum, Bitcoin thinking that's going to go 35k, 40k, and Ethereum to 3k respectively, they do not know what the fuck they're talking about. This is their first cycle. And honestly, Lucy, if you're watching this, bro, I seriously think you are underestimating the power of just markets in general. Like this is your first rodeo. Look, from just the perspective when it comes to markets in general, markets moves in cycles. People have to start respecting that bear market rallies comes the hardest. They are tending to squeeze the fuck out of you before the next leg lower. It's on how you can survive. Sure, you could have longed it. but you also have to know when to take profit and when to flip your bias. So let's talk about it. This low here, this high here, is currently capping whatever is happening above here, right? Could this be the new deviation happening? We've seen the same thing when it came to when we're going to review it. Same thing here. If you start trading below here, then boom, that's your area for a trigger, that's your stop loss. And afterwards, you start thinking towards here, take profit. And afterwards, lose mid-range. Every chart, right? Every mid-range on every chart is very pivotal, because that's the mid between range highs and range lows. Acceptance above, we can probably think, if we're trading from range lows to mid-range, acceptance above it, we can probably start assuming they're going to range highs. If we're trading shorts from range highs and we're targeting range lows, we are looking to take profits at range and mid-range, and if we flip mid-range, we're looking to continuation, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, boys. Let's look at ES. So zoom in. It's almost the same thing that's happening towards QQQ right now. Wouldn't you agree? Look at the hourly. This swing high here. We found resistance above it. Closed. Next candle. Boom. Nuked. Same thing here. This high here is capping the market. If this is support, if you start trading below it, this is your area for short trigger, right? And afterwards, this entire area becomes a deviation. We can start moving down between mid-range again. So macro mid-range, using 2021 highs, 2021 lows, mark out that. I'm not your grandparents anymore, boys. So look. And afterwards, you can even set up like a nice day trade, right? If you start close below here, take profit. You can even get a better entry than I do. But the beauty of this is I have a clear invalidation, right? I know where I'm wrong, but I can use 1R risk. I can use probably another account or whichever account. I can open and trade that PNL, regardless if it's negative or positive. It doesn't matter. Probably you're not just gonna be here and just say, yo, SF, I'm underwater. But I don't give a shit. I'm posting stuff that I feel I can handle. If it doesn't maintain your risk criteria, this is why, let's say, when I post Euro odd, I post different setups. I post when I'm getting in, but I'm also posting different day trades when you can get in as well. So there's no crying for missed setups, boys. It's one of these things you have to take your self-discipline. I'm giving you the blueprint and I'm teaching you how, but you also have to press the buy or sell button. That's all up to you, boys. Use your risk, define your risk, have 1R if you have a bigger appetite for bigger risk. Bigger risk has better rewards, but also manage it, okay? So I'm looking for, this becomes a fat deviation area. It should be clear this is a break in market structure. Break in market structure we did not have since below here, right? Since this high here got swept. See how this ranged? So this can be considered consolidation. As soon as you broke the consolidation area, break in market structure, because from highs to lows, lows got swept, retested as resistance. Normally when market structures like this, right? Start thinking above this, found support here, bullish market structure. We found support, some resistance there. And afterwards we reclaim support. So every time we're ticking up. Same here, right? Towards here. Found deviation. Let me remove the girth real quick. Same thing here. Found resistance. That's not even it. Fuck me, bro. I'm breaking down live, aren't I? Alright. So look, here we have it. Definition of a range. Range lows got swept. Found support. Push higher. Found support here. Towards here. Consolidated. Pushed lower. Came towards here. Again, as soon as we reclaimed here, pushed higher. See how every time in a macro perspective, right? We have a low, a high, a higher low, came towards here, and afterwards we have a higher high. Look at this, one of those areas that are actually creating a higher low. I do not think so. I will need to wait and see if we can break below here. Break below here confirms the idea that this becomes the deviation area, right? Or the consolidation area that leads to breakdown. Or whichever. You can use any synonym you want. Most of these days use smart smart money concepts, bro. Like, what the fuck is this? It's a derivative when it comes to the same thing when it comes to ICT. That's all it is. Let's move on to NQ. be honest, NQ looks a lot better versus ES. Because to me, this already broke market structure. Deviation here. Failed to hold support. Broke down from support after flipping it from resistance. That was a short trigger towards here. Now we're holding mid-range, right? If you can break back below here and break this area here, so there's the YAG, and afterwards towards here, first take profit, probably does something like this, shallow bounce. We reload shorts back on the retest towards here, and from a macro perspective, boys, I really think by then it will be over. Again, same thing. I have clear invalidation. These highs already got swept. Probability-wise of us tapping towards here are lower than especially on ES as well, right? Especially since we've already taken these highs. So liquidity has been swept. That's enough for me. I have more confidence towards here. And also the same thing. I can hold this position, even being underwater for a week or 2 weeks, whichever, I don't care. Until I get stopped, I am still in the trade, okay? This is the range here. Swept, reclaimed, went higher. As soon as we break back below here, bro, trust, this entire area becomes a deviation, especially since we've seen it on BTC, we've seen it on ETH when it comes to the 25k range, right? As soon as we break below here, then this opens up this area for take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3, take profit 4, and these lows here. So far, so good. Let's jump into Apple, boys. And normally I don't trade this shit. I'll be honest with you, boys. I can't be the type of people that just wait weeks on end, waiting for yo, bro. Have you heard about? They're going to post how much they earned per stock. They're gonna post their revenue, bro. I'm getting a split. I'm getting dividends. Bro, don't be a boomer, G. But if you really want to trade the chart, let's get it. This is all-time high. See how we deviated all-time high, found resistance? Now, I'm not into this trade right yet. I'm waiting for the market structure break. Market structure breaks happens when this highs starts getting dealt as resistance. As soon as it gets dealt as resistance, whichever the swing high is, so if this is the swing high at the moment, we're going to adjust the highs to stop towards there. And this is the pivotal area, right? Resistance, support, deviated support, deviated reclaimed. Support from here, range lows, so this can be attested as range lows. All-time highs can be attested as range highs. And then from here, break it market structure, get in, 1R risk, and afterwards, gradually take profit. Let's say you want to take profit here, you take profit there, and afterwards towards here. Could it go lower, especially since we're expecting a recession? Sure it can. But I'm not into just holding it at the moment. But that's what I have for you boys when it comes to ES and Q when it comes to stocks. Let's move on to Euro AUD, GBUSD, and Euro and gold. So let me remove this real quick. So I told you guys, right? Yo, bro. I just got this fat whiff of weed, bro. I got windows closed and everything. I think one of my neighbors are smoking the fuck up. Alright, let's lock in, boys. Let's lock in. Let's zoom out. This area here, right? It's pivotal. That swing high is pivotal. I'm gonna tell you homies why. Every time you came into it, found resistance, flipped it, found support, flipped it again, resistance, support, again, found resistance. So this is Monday highs. This is Monday lows. Now it starts to line up perfectly on what we want, right? If this is Monday lows, this is Monday highs. So look, this is Monday lows, Monday highs. I would not hate if we did something like this, even though we're already swing high from here, right? Or swing high from here. We have stops below here. So look, if we can do something like this, deviate Monday lows, reclaim aggressively here, 1R risk towards there, take it from here towards Monday highs, that's your day trade done. And afterwards, if we break above Monday highs and hold, go towards there, then boom, now you're pushing even higher, right? But I want to highlight something for you guys when it comes to just scalping in general. Some of you getting bricked the fuck up right now, aren't you? So scalping, to be honest, entails just marking out extremities of ranges. Just think about higher time frame perspective. Think of it the same way. So onto the 5-minute chart, so the candles look a bit nicer. So look, if this is the extremity, right? This is the swing low. See how we deviated from here? As soon as we deviated, now this becomes the low, right? This can also be attested as now your swing low, or whichever your invalidation, whichever synonym you want to use. So look, from here, this is the level, SR level, right? So from here, we can start bidding this level, right? Bid this level here, come towards here. So let's say you start going towards here, you long here, you have stops there. Boom, you're in and out. You're in and out. Just like that. You have 1 hour there, 1.51. Same thing here. So let me zoom in a bit. Why did I highlight this specific level? So look here. This is the swing high, right? The swing high here. Found deviation, deviation. Same thing here. As soon as you broke back down from here, this was your shorting opportunity because it's now holding as resistance, right? This SR level now becomes resistance. So here, stop loss there. You take profit at the same level here. Afterwards, you play the longs in validation there towards the same SR level. Just ping pong at one point. You're just trading the extremities of a range. So every time it comes, you just wait for a reaction, or you can get in like an ape. As soon as you have clear validation, you take the trade. You don't need to wait until the extremities to hit again. As soon as it does, because it's a 1 minute range, you can probably, let's say if it moves like 2-3 pips, stops break even. Take 33% off. Secure something for yourself. Live to fight another day. And look, I'm not looking to trade the extremities, the in between, right? I'm looking to trade the extremities here. You take a trade here, you take a trade there, you take a trade here, take another trade here, another trade here, even here. Then afterwards, even here, right? When PA starts building itself, you start marking out different areas where you can see for a potential bounce. Especially since we're just looking at it from here, you just put market structure into it as well, right? So if this is the low, this is the high, this becomes constituted as the higher low. And afterwards, it doesn't have to be, but you get the perspective that from this low, this is a higher low, and also this is the higher low. So we're looking for bullish setups, right? But we're also taking into account that this area here is acting pivotal for also getting in and on shorts. So every time we see the breakdown below here, stop loss above there, take the short trigger. Let's say you want to trade from here, take profit. Afterwards, it comes towards there, starts breaking down, you take the short. If it comes to SR levels, when it comes to the bullish PA, you take the longs. Easy as that. Easy as that. You don't need to overcomplicate things. So, now we got a little scalping explanation out of the way. Let's look at the daily. I still think, from a daily perspective, especially since ES starts breaking down, we have the correlation that we've seen in the previous session, right? Correlation when it comes between this. We're looking for higher prices towards here, towards here, towards here, and towards there. So let's go into GBPUSD real quick. Honestly, there's nothing much to need to update on GBPUSD. We're just looking for higher prices to short anyways. I think charts on more explains most of it anyways. You can do something like this, deviate, that's our short towards there. Boom, easy, next. Same thing, almost the same, right? Can move towards here. Let's redefine stuff real quick. 6 hours. So far, 30 minutes. This area here, right? Do something like this. If you can get above it again, sweep these highs. Boom. That's our short trigger. Take profit 1, take profit 2. And depending on what DXY does, if it comes towards here, because we have these clean lows here, right? If it does something like this and reclaim, that's our long order. So our longs in, stop loss there. towards there, towards the yearly open. Yearly open is very pivotal. See how many times we've been fighting over it, right? Let's move on to gold and DXY, and that should be it for the session, boys. So bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. So got gold real quick. Bro, if I'm being honest with you guys, if you can get a push higher, I will short the fuck out of this here. These highs here are asking to be tapped. Boom, easy does it, right? So look, these are the lows here that got swept, deviated, went higher. Afterwards, we found resistance here. So resistance area, we can probably see from supply area here. If we tap it, something like this, boom. You have clear invalidation, boys. Clear invalidation. Let's move on to DXY real quick. Honestly, should have started with DXY first, huh? So there's not much to actually update on. Just more than that. That look, it's still range bound. It's still range bound. So until we actually make a thorough break, accept a little saltiness from this, okay? I think still that we're probably going to see something like this again. If it does, on the reclaim here, we get the fuck on board on shorts. Okay? And if it starts breaking down from yearly open, then yes, we're fucked and we're going to start moving to different setups. We're going to switch longs. Easy peasy, that's it. So again, boys, thank you for coming to the session. Hope you enjoyed this lengthy one. A lot of alpha dropped in here. A lot of setups what we're looking for. And again, boys, if you guys do not have any questions, then this is the end of the session.